So we've got some new Velma. Episodes 3 and 4 are out. And I don't think you're going to see any tweets from HBO or Warner or Cartoon Network saying that this is one of their biggest premieres for new stuff ever, like they were trying to pass off last week. I think you're going to see a huge drop between last week and this week. I think a lot of people tuned in to the first batch of episodes of this series because they wanted to see for themselves just how bad it is, because it's very, very rare that we get something this bad. In fact, surprisingly, I thought that this was just a meme. Apparently, Velma is officially the worst rated show ever on IMDb. I guess originally this belonged to Dragon Ball Evolution. Now, I didn't know that. I mean, Dragon Ball Evolution is an awful movie. I actually had a conversation with Dan Fraga on a stream once. Fraga, I believe is Couch Doodles on Twitter, does a lot of storyboarding for stuff in Hollywood, or at least did. I think he still does. He's working on his own stuff now, but his story behind that movie was that they changed the script last minute and kept changing things on set, and what they were originally going to do and what we got were completely different things. Whatever the original project was, I guess, was a lot better. The movie is probably one of the worst things I've ever seen. In fact, it was so bad it got the original creator, Akira Toriyama, to come back and work on Dragon Ball because he was so disgusted with what they were doing. And we've gotten much better stuff since then. So I guess that's the positive side to Dragon Ball Evolution, but I can't think of any positive side to Velma. Like, I had no idea that this was actually the worst thing on there, but Velma, I guess, has dethroned it. And it is now the worst program ever reviewed for IMDb. I thought that was just a meme, but a couple of outlets are on here saying that it's real. So funny stuff. Officially the worst show ever, at least on IMDb. I don't know about Rotten Tomatoes, but it is certainly among some of the worst television ever created. Which, why the season 2 thing blows me away. Like, they're already talking about doing a season 2 of this. The ratings are going to be awful for this show. They have to know that, because if they have the numbers, I highly doubt people watched the first one and then stuck around for the second one. Because I'll be honest, I couldn't get through the second episode. I tried. I watched the first one. The first one was shit. And I watched the second one about maybe 10 minutes into, and I just said, yeah, I'm good. I can't watch anymore. And I turned it off because it was that bad. So now we have 3 and 4 out, and the reviews aren't good for this one either. This is from Paul Tassi over at Forbes. And his review is pretty bad. Perhaps no episode better exemplifies the confusing pro-anti-feminist messaging of this series than this one, where the show first tries to make points about inner beauty, but then everyone turns on Velma for slut-shaming after giving the hot girls makeovers to become ugly and therefore less likely to be murder victims. The episode ends with Velma recruiting the hot girls to do a hot girl dance to clear a crowd away from her pregnant stepmother giving birth on the sidewalk. It is exactly as weird as it sounds, and we seem to end with this sort of generic be yourself message. Fundamentally, across both these episodes, outside of the bizarre and unfunny humor, none of the central mysteries are being presented are interesting, whether it's the disappearance of Velma's mom, the identity of Daphne's birth parents, or even the central serial killer. For a series that was supposedly centered on mystery, that's just not a compelling part of the experience. Not that there is really a compelling part of the experience. I continue to remain baffled at the Norville character here, as Fred, Daphne, and Velma, though rewritten in this new adult format, are still some variants of their old characters. I disagree. They seem nothing like their old characters. In fact, Velma is just Mindy Kaling. It's self-inserted into the show, literally. I just don't get the change to Shaggy here to transform him into effectively a 100% different green-shirted character. And yeah, like you probably need a dog here eventually. This show is the weirdest thing I've ever seen. I maybe hate watching it, but I am still watching it. So that's something, I guess. Paul Tassi actually puts out good reviews. Like, he seems honest. Sometimes I question his stuff, but for the most part, his reviews are usually pretty fair. It's crazy to see him just totally going on this show. Nobody's playing ball on this show. I mean, the reviews alone speak for it. Actually, I take that back. You know who is playing ball with this show? CBR.com. And some other stuff like this one from Up Rocks. They're definitely playing ball. HBO Max's Velma's been review bombed by furious Scooby Doo fans, but rumors of a season 2 are swirling. This is put out yesterday. Still going with this review bomb bullshit, which is not real. Nobody's review bombing the show. This show is legitimately bad. And it's funny that they never mention the 10 stars. You think anybody thinks that this is a 10-star show? Nobody thinks this show is 10 stars. And they're even doing it over here with Rotten Tomatoes. You can see them giving it a lot of 1 stars for this series as well, which is funny. Like, this isn't a 10-star show. Okay. This is a pretty awful show, and everyone knows it. But, you know, these outlets like Up Rocks can never miss a chance to attack fans, go after fans, tell them that they're garbage. But I always find it funny when shows line up. Like, you actually have people agreeing here, which is a rarity. Very rarely do you have critics and audiences line up and agree. So what are you saying about the critics? You're saying that the critics are racist and sexist. And by the way, it came down again. It was at 56 the other day. Now it's at 52. So, I mean, what are you saying about the critics now? Up Rocks, CBR.com. CBR.com, never missing a chance to prove how out of touch they are. I love it. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Just keeps coming for this show, and I find it incredibly entertaining. The conversations around Velma are more entertaining than the show. Anyway, that's pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think. Also, if you would, please like, subscribe, share the video. Make sure you're still subscribed. Hit that notification bell. Check out my Rumble and Locals, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Make sure to check out my Locals. There's a link in the description. It's a fun community that I'm trying to build over here. If you don't want to support me on YouTube, you can come over here. None of that money goes to YouTube. You also can just come over here for free. But if you are a supporter over here, I do plan on doing an extra live stream once a month and throwing links to the supporters so you can actually come on and have a supporter live stream with me. Also, it's a good place to catch all of my content. You don't have to worry about notifications like YouTube. They'll definitely work over here. So come check out my Locals.